Hello Satnam, it's me, Shakti Sundari, and I'm back with you today for the next reading from the Radiance Sutras. I actually went to the park today to read and took the sutra with me, but it was so busy. It was so busy in the park, I couldn't find anywhere to sit quietly to read, and I really wanted to have some space and some quiet, but it was very busy and very loud. So I decided to come back home and do the reading from here, which is a shame because I would much prefer to do it from nature, from outside than inside. Also, do you know what I'm noticing in myself right now is like this thought going through my head that people who've been following these readings with me are going to think I'm a bit bonkers. Just because I seem to be going through so many different fluctuations in my state of being. Like I was on quite a high yesterday and the day before, and today I'm not on a high. I'm more on a low, and my moon cycle started. I'm bleeding really heavily, and suddenly I just feel really like all of the things that have been going on in my life. I'm just sort of seeing how, what am I seeing? I've got a story going on in my head about how it's all my fault and how I failed, I suppose. Yeah, it's that feeling of failing, not being able to live as the embodiment of love, which is what I'm called to be, the embodiment of love, and recognizing how challenging that is for me to be consistently. Just wishing for more love in my heart and in my being. A love that is powerful enough to transmute my own wounds as well as those of, I guess, my beloveds. A sort of feeling of failure that I couldn't do that, I couldn't master that, I couldn't master the situation enough to really transmute our pain and my pain and his pain with love. And I did all that I could, but it wasn't enough, and I'm really feeling that today. Yeah. Anyway, so that's my emotional outpouring before I've even begun. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. Whew. And yet I keep coming back to these sutras and finding something there every day. And I hope you are too. So, yeah, I think that's all I'm going to say about that for now. Maybe more will arise. Just collecting myself. Yukti verse 59. We're on Yukti verse 59. And this is very similar to another one that we have. Very similar to another one that we've already read before. So here's the Sanskrit. Asane shayane stitva nirataram vibhavayan svadeham manasi kshine kshanat kshina ashaya bhavet. Can't read it again. Still too emotional. Here's the English. Sitting on a soft seat or lying on your mat, experience the space below as offering no support. You are simply suspended, floating in space. Structures of the mind release. The reservoir of habits dissolves in an instant. Lifetimes of patterns vanish. This is really similar to a meditation a few days ago when we were invited to imagine like we were sitting on a cloud of nothing, really, and I had that image in my head of being on a flying carpet. So here's the invitation: sitting on a soft seat or lying on your mat, so you can be lying down or sitting, experiencing the space below as offering no support. Again, it's really different to how we normally guide ourselves or others into a state of deep relaxation or deep meditation, because there we're invited to embrace the earth as our support, and in this it's the opposite of that. You are simply suspended, floating in space. And actually I tried this morning. I made this my own meditation this morning as I was sitting. I like to meditate in the morning, and I tried this as my practice. It was, structures of the mind release. The reservoir of habit dissolves. In an instant, lifetimes of patterns vanish. And that's the bit for me today in this sutra, is that when we're in that meditative space, when we are fully let go into that, when I'm fully let go into that, of course, the structures of the mind release, and it's the mind which creates so much of our pain and so much of our conflict. Well, it's the mind that creates all of it, actually. That's why we meditate, to master the mind. That's why we do this. Structures of the mind release. Yeah, because we empty out into a spaciousness where there is no mind, no ego mind anymore. The reservoir of habits dissolves. That's such a good image. The reservoir of habits, all of those habitual patterns. And I'm very aware of the application of this, to the relevance of this to myself, to my own situation, to all that I've been going through and all that I've been experiencing. The reservoir of habits, all of the patterns, all of the conditionings, all of the limiting beliefs, all of the past experiences, they disappear in this experience of meditative oneness. So yeah, in an instant, lifetimes of patterns vanish. And they do. And it's then, okay, so that's what I can attain when I sit and meditate. It's easy for me to go there. I can do that. Absolutely, I can. But it's how do I maintain that then for the rest of the day, for the rest of the week? How do I stay in that space where the reservoir of habits is dissolved, where the lifetimes of patterns have vanished, because they creep back in so quickly in each and every one of us? And it's those aspects of our being that can create so much pain and conflict. That is why, for me, it's imperative to have a mindfulness practice every day, every day, every day, and why I absolutely believe that it's impossible to have and be in a conscious relationship without both parties having a daily meditative practice, ideally both individually and together. Because it's this awareness, this spaciousness that is needed, this level of neutrality that is needed to be able to hold space for and witness the reactivity that arises within us and within another. And without that, it can very quickly become so painful and destructive. So of course I'm bringing very much my own experience to this today, as I do every day. But it's great to consider. It's great. It's really valuable. But the simplicity of this is that sit or lie, experience the space below as offering no support, experience yourself as being suspended in space, and just notice how the mind dissolves into that spaciousness. And then knowing that quality, knowing that, experiencing that, finding ways to sustain that quality in our being when we're not meditating, so it begins to infuse our being throughout the day. And that's it. Thank you for being with me today, and thank you for being with me through all of these ups and downs that I'm riding. Thank you. Join me again tomorrow for the next reading from the Radiance Sutras. Sat Nam.